When you watch Arsenal, one thing becomes crystal clear. This isn't just a team playing good football, it's a machine that's been fine-tuned by Mikel Arteta.
And there's Declan Rice! Oh, what a goal! It's another beauty from the right boot of Declan Rice. He's able to get to the box. Leandro Trossard! Ever the man for the big moments!
You can't ignore how complete Arsenal have become.
They could dazzle you with skill and ability up front. They can outplay you and outmuscle you in the middle of the park, and they don't give you anything away defensively.
They performed like champions today.
Arsenal are by far the most powerful and physical, strong team.
But Arsenal is really the contender for me.
This stat says it all. 9 Champions League home games, 26 goals scored, 0 conceded. Do you guys understand how ridiculous that is? In the most prestigious club competition, at home, Arsenal just don't concede. And we're not talking about 1 game or 2 games. We're talking about almost double-digit amount of home games to go by. That's ridiculous consistency.
You're on about not giving up goals. They're not giving up chances. No. I think they've had 1 shot in the last 3 games.
You don't just stumble into that kind of dominance. It shows you that Arsenal are an organized, ruthless team that is very confident in their system. And it's true if you watch them. At the Emirates Stadium, they always look completely in control, whether it's the first minute or the 90th. The players know exactly where to be, their press is synchronized, and the back line doesn't give anyone even a sniff. Because like I said, when you're keeping 9 straight clean sheets in Europe against the best teams that Europe has to offer, it's not about luck or easy opposition. It's about having the right structure, the discipline, and more importantly, the belief. When you watch Arsenal play, it's 11 guys that all want to defend. They're all willing to do the dirty work. Under Arteta, they've become an actual good team. One of those teams that goes into a European match and just gets the job done. It might seem like it's a normal thing, but it wasn't that long ago when Arsenal were a laughingstock in the Champions League, or frankly any European competition. They now just have an elite mentality. They don't panic, but they also don't get carried away and just go out to handle business. And to be fair, Arteta deserves the most amount of credit. His fingerprints are all over the success. You can tell from how the players move, how they defend, how they react when they lose the ball. Everything has been drilled into them to perfection. Arteta has always been someone who's clearly obsessed with control, and that's why Arsenal defend as a unit and then they attack as a unit, and they suffocate teams. They are such a tough team to predict what they're gonna do. Sometimes the fullbacks invert into the midfield, sometimes they overlap. Sometimes the wingers tuck in, sometimes they stay out wide. Everything is coordinated like clockwork. And what's great about them now is how much depth they have, pretty much in every single position. Even just last season, injuries would have killed them. Now, even with Odegaard out, Havertz out, and Madueke getting injured, they still look dominant. And that's because the squad has been built to perfection, or at least close to it. I guess we can't really say perfection until they lift silverware, but on paper, there's quality in every single position. Let's start with the defense. Gabriel deserves so much praise. He has easily become one of the best center backs in the world, and it's fitting given the fact that he was one of Arteta's first signings. The guy is just a monster both in the air and on the ground. He dominates duels, he plays with so much aggression, and now you know he's become an elite center back because he's added goals to his game.
Saka delivers. Gabriel! First blood goes to the Gunners. A free header for the Brazilian. So brilliantly picked out by Bukayo Saka. Corner comes in, it's a really good one, it's in! Gabriel's got his head to it and Arsenal have taken the lead!
That's what the best center backs have always done. They lock up the best attackers, but then they get you goals in the big moments. And how many times have we seen Gabriel come up big time and time again? Whether it's the North London Derby, whether it's a Champions League match. This guy will find a way to put the ball in the back of the net. At times they put 5-6 guys around him and he still finds a way to make contact with the corner. And him and Saliba are ridiculous together. It's the best center back duo in the world. Last year there was an argument to be made for Konate and Van Dijk, but this season there is no debate. Gabriel and Saliba are monsters. They are both strong, aggressive, and dangerous on set pieces, and they have the perfect complementary emotions. Gabriel is way more aggressive. He's a monster. He's right up in your face. Meanwhile, Saliba is more calm. He's composed. He's more nonchalant. And the chemistry between them is unreal. They've played so long together now that they trust each other completely. completely. And the standard is so high now that when Arsenal actually allow a shot on target, people act like Arsenal conceded. That's how good they have been defensively. And then on top of these guys, Arsenal have great fullbacks. Riccardo Calafiori is a monster at left back. He's one of those fullbacks that's so good defensively that he can play as a center back. In fact, that's where he was playing for the Italian national team. But what makes Calafiori so special is that going forward, he's just as good as any modern day fullback. How many times have we seen this guy in 2 seasons already score bangers? He can carry the ball, he can whip in these dangerous crosses. It's such a luxury to have, someone who can defend as well as a center back, but he's almost like a winger up front. And then if he ever gets injured or tired, his backup is also a monster in Lewis Skelly. I'm a huge fan of this guy. I think he's one of the best youngsters in the world, not just in his position. He's fast, he's strong. The same way that Calafiori's so good on the ball that he can almost play up top, Lewis Skelly's so good on the ball that he can play in midfield. The way this guy carries the ball with his speed and strength, nobody can stop him when he gets going. And we saw that recently in the Champions League when he set up Martinelli.
Lewis Skelly. An exciting break. Martinelli. Oh, it's a glorious goal for Arsenal!
He can do it over and over again, and we saw it against Manchester City last year.
Lewis Skelly took it in his stride well. And shoots! Oh, what a goal! Oh, it's Lewis Skelly's first goal for Arsenal, and they lead 3-1!
The fact that this guy is a backup left back shows you just how crazy Arsenal's depth is. And then at right back, more quality. Jurrien Timber is arguably the best right back in the world. Forget the Premier League, I'm talking about the entire world. He's so good going forward, but then again defensively, he can lock up the best left wingers out there. The man is built like a fridge, so you can't get past him, and then going forward, he can get you goals.
Over comes the corner. Header comes in, and Arsenal have taken the lead!
He's so good that now Ben White is his backup. Now Ben White has had a lot of injury issues, so I think people forget just how good he can be, but that's a crazy amount of depth that you can start Timber, and then if you wanted to rotate, you can play Ben White. It's wonderful, and it speaks volumes about how good this Arsenal back line is. Some of these guys would start for any club in the world, but at Arsenal, they are a backup. And then of course, how can I not speak about Mosquera? This guy came in as a very unknown signing from Valencia. I had personally only seen him play against Real Madrid and Barcelona, but then when Saliba got injured, he came in and transitioned seamlessly. He looked like he had been playing for Arsenal for years. To come in as Saliba's backup, a center back that is so elite, and not only do you replace him, but you actually elevate the back line for a bit, that tells you everything about how good this youngster is. Another reason why this back line has been so good isn't just because they're good defensively, it's also because off set pieces they have become a weapon. People love to joke about Arsenal scoring from set pieces, but honestly, who cares? There is no wrong way to score a goal. Yes, you can make some criticism that maybe they rely on it too much as opposed to open play goals, but right now you're seeing the rest of the league try and transition to becoming better off set pieces. It means that Arsenal and Arteta were ahead of the curve. Every dead ball situation is like a penalty for Arsenal. Every corner, every indirect free kick, it feels like a real chance. Rice whips it in, Gabriel attacks, and then chaos follows. You never know who's going to put it in the back of the net. It can be Gyökeres, it can be Timber. This isn't luck, this is hours of training and repetition.
Can I ask you how long you spend on set pieces? Because the set pieces are ridiculous. It's a secret weapon. How long do you spend?
Yeah, we spend some time. I'm not gonna tell exactly what we do, but yeah. Of course we practice it, but yeah, we do it well, and I think we have the desire to do those things.
Arsenal have basically built an extra attacking system through set pieces, and that's just smart football. It fits perfectly with Arteta's approach. Everything is about precision, detail, and a structure, and you see it all in action when Arsenal get a corner or a free kick. Now, as good as the back line has been, we also have to show some love to the midfield, because that's a big reason why Arsenal have been so good defensively. Zubamendi has been an absolute game changer. He's come in as the sole pivot, and he's amazing. He's so good at breaking the lines with his passes, so good at receiving the ball off these half turns. And then defensively, I think he's underrated. Because he's not a big guy and because he's not always putting in these crunching tackles, people don't realize how good he is at winning the ball back. Whether it's by positioning himself for a good interception or putting his body in a way to get a toe poke, this guy knows how to win the ball back. I mean, think about it. He's so good both with and without the ball that it's allowed Arteta to push Rice forward. And Rice as a number 8 is even better than he was as a 6, which surprised me as well, because I always thought that Rice was at his best as a holding midfielder. But Zubamendi is much better on the ball than Rice in terms of receiving the ball on the half turns and from the center back in the build-up. But this is better now for Rice too, because he can use his athleticism further up the pitch. He can get more goals, and at the same time he can still track back and defend from higher up the pitch. And that's how Arsenal suffocate teams. Then next to these guys, you have Odegaard, who can offer the creativity. And because he's been injured, well, he's been replaced by Eze. So now that trio has a bit of everything. You have players who are good on the ball, creativity, and guys that are willing to do the dirty work. I mean, think about it. A year ago, if Odegaard kept getting injured, Arsenal were screwed. Now they casually play Eberechi Eze in that position. And he's so good that he can also play on the left wing if he has to. But yeah, I wanted to show some appreciation to the midfield because they are a big part of why Arsenal are so good defensively. They press and defend as a unit, so everyone has a role to play, not just whoever's in the back four that night. But yes, just to go back to Zubamendi, this guy doesn't always do flashy stuff, but he keeps everything ticking. Before he arrived, Arsenal sometimes lost control of the middle in big games. That's not happening anymore, because Zubamendi is so calm under pressure. He always seems 2 steps ahead, and then off the ball, he's one of the main reasons why the Gunners are even harder to break down this season. It also helps that Arsenal are just relentless. They never let up. Even when they're up 4-0, they're still pressing like it's the first minute. And that hunger, it's very telling. Arteta has built a culture where dominance isn't optional, it's expected. I know that sounds cringy and like it's a motivational post, but it's true. Yes, people will make fun of Arsenal for not winning silverware, but you can see game by game, they play like an elite team, whether they have a trophy or not. Every player fights for every ball, no matter the scoreline. And that's why a lot of times you see them, they don't just win games, they overwhelm teams. And that's a huge mentality shift, because for years, especially before Arteta came in and even those early years, everyone said that Arsenal were mentally weak. They crumble when it matters, they always bottle it. That's what people used to say. But that narrative is slowly fading. It will be completely gone if Arsenal can win the Premier League or the Champions League. And you could argue the mentality issues weren't really about having weak players, but a lack of depth. When Arsenal had injuries in past seasons, the drop-off in quality was massive. But now, with reinforcements across the pitch, they are no longer relying on the perfect starting 11. Arteta has turned that around. He's created a culture where every player, whether you're a starter or coming off the bench, they know their importance.
They're well organised, they've got strength in depth now, there is no excuses. They've got everything that you need. They've got weapons. When you talk about Saka, Martinelli, all the players that they've got, it's not that now if they've got injuries, they're going to struggle. You know, Odegaard was injured, then you got Eze. So they've got everything they need. It's all in their hands.
There's a sense of a collective buy-in with everyone fighting for the same goal. That's why Lewis Skelly and Calafiori can rotate without one of them feeling like the other is stepping on his toes. This is really great to see because Arsenal have come so far from their banter era. They used to be a team that just ate goals for fun. Now they are a side that you don't want to play at all. And it is all thanks to Arteta. He's the main guy. He walked into chaos. He had players on big wages not performing, there was no identity, and the fan base was losing faith. Fast forward a few years, and Arsenal are one of the most respected sides in Europe.
When Mikel went in, it wasn't a nice place at Arsenal. Like, it was a little bit, the fans were not sure what was happening, and what he'd done was he built a complete unity, a complete trust in what he was doing.
He's rebuilt the club's entire reputation from the ground up, and he's done it in his way, with young players, tactical precision, and a clear identity. Whether it's in the Premier League or the Champions League, Arsenal now play once again like a team that belongs at the top. And that's what great managers do. They don't just win games, they change cultures. When I look at Arteta, I see a manager who's mastered the balance between detail and man management. He's tactical, but he's not robotic. I mean, you've seen him outside of his technical area every single match. At the same time, he's emotional, but he's not reckless. He's demanding, but he's still respected. And all of that plays a role into why Arsenal are so hard to beat. The fans are now emotionally connected to the team again because they see elite players on the pitch. Yes, there are still Arteta out people, and saying that he needs to win trophies I think is a fair piece of criticism. But if you're judging by progression, change in structure, and the identity of this new team, Mikel Arteta has already put Arsenal back among Europe's elite. I mean, look at their attack. Saka is no longer alone. Gyökeres is next to him. When Havertz is healthy, He's available too. Then on the left wing, they can play Eze, they can play Martinelli. A few years ago, Martinelli was the unanimous starter. Now there's enough quality on the side where he can be a player that comes off the bench. Same thing with Martin Odegaard. You don't need these players all on the pitch at the same time anymore. And with the way this team is trending, the clean sheets, the depth, the dominance, the trophies have to come. It's just a matter of time. Because the performances are there. Arteta has found a way to create chaos for the opponent, but calm for his own team. And that's why the way Arsenal moves is so fluid. Everyone shifts in sync. I kind of wish they would play as fluid as they used to in the 2022-2023 season, but I think this style will yield better results. And I think now that Arteta has better quality players, you will see better quality football. Just having a guy like Eze in the number 10 position, that changes everything. The fact that you have a player like him that can link up with Saka, who's already an elite player, and you have Gyökeres that can finish the chances, it makes Arsenal a very difficult team to stop. And the great thing is you can tell the players completely trust the system. Everyone has bought into Arteta's system. And the fact that they look this good without players like Odegaard, Madueke, Havertz, Jesus, it's a really good sign, because it means that when these players return, the squad is now elite. And it also means the system doesn't rely on one or two stars. Everyone who steps in already knows the rhythm. Players like Mosquera, Waneri, even Norgard. Players come and go, but the intensity doesn't change. Last season and even the season before that, injuries hurt them pretty badly. This season, the squad looks built to handle those situations. They just have to maintain their control and mix the set piece goals with good football from open play. If they can put all those ingredients together, they are finally going to win silverware. It's just a matter of time. They were lacking a striker, and now they have Gyökeres. And yes, Gyökeres maybe isn't as elite as his numbers at Sporting would suggest, but he's very important to this team, because even when he's not scoring, his gravity helps players like Saka, like Odegaard, like Declan Rice. And against some of the smaller and mid-table teams, Gyökeres will score against them. I mean, heck, he'll even score against the elite team. He got a brace against Atletico Madrid.
Is it coming in? Gyökeres, and in it goes! Rice delivers, and it's going to be another! Gyökeres there on the line to make absolutely sure.
I think everybody knew that when he was coming to the Premier League, he wasn't going to score 50 plus goals. But all Arsenal need from him is good hold-up play and for him to finish as many chances as he can. Because even if he can get 15 goals, that's going to be enough to push Arsenal to the next level. Because defensively, they've always been elite. Even last season, even a season ago. Obviously, they have gotten better, but they never had issues conceding. Now they just have to score more on the opposite end to finally get that number one spot. Because this isn't a project anymore. Arsenal are the real deal. They play with a lot of confidence, they have a structure that works, they defend like their lives depend on it, and have a multitude of ways to score. Add in the fact that they smother their opponent with pressing, and how organized they are both with and without the ball, and you can see that everyone's locked in. The football is top level. Now it's just about finishing the story with the trophies that this club deserves. To see just how much Arteta has truly transformed this team, you have to watch this documentary right here.